on around the clock. So that was comforting to the family member. It was moving today to hear a representative from the fire department tell the families at the family meeting this afternoon that the Miami-Dade Fire Department will not stop working until they've gotten to the bottom of the pile and recovered every single one of the family's missing loved ones. It's what we've said all along, and they've stuck to their commitment, and I'm very, very thankful for that. The speaker further said that I can assure you we are not stopping, and your missing children are coming back to your family. This is exactly the message the families wanted to hear, and they expressed gratefulness for that message. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. For our Creole interpreter, Lionel Letterboard.
Mesdames, Messieurs, bonsoir. Je dis encore, c'est dernière partie dans la journée, 15e journée, côté équipe nous continue le travail avec recherche et récupération. Je dis encore, ils ont découvert 4 lots victimes, ça porte quantité à 64 et nous gagnons à peu près, nous gagnons 200 que nous confirmons que nous gagnons avec nous et gagnons 76 personnes que nous pouvons trouver, nous pouvons joindre trace. Les détectives continuent à travailler pour vérifier et puis pour être capable sûr que quantité de monde que nous dit qu'il peut trouver ou effectivement dans le building là lorsque le building là est tombé. Je dis à tu as un travail qui est fait parce que la famille a fait demande pour être capable de visiter et nous sommes capables de permettre d'arriver sur place et prendre un moment pour te honorer les gens qui disparaissent. L'Institut national, normes avec technologie, continuer à travailler pour être capable de réunir tout ça qui vient comme preuve et travailler ça est capable de permettre nous de déboucher sur une issue qui est encore meilleure. Pour le moment, le public là a demandé pour contribuer, participer autant que vous capable si vous avez une photo qui est disponible, photo ça vous capable de partager sur le site internet nist.gov/disaster après tirer vous pouvez utiliser information que nous avons là pas propre niveau non nist.gov/disaster-failure-studies et vous descendre plus bas pour chercher building là lui-même qui c'est building qui est tombé à Champlain Tower South Collapse et là il y a soumettre photo qui est disponible et photo ça est capable un bon moyen pour être capable de continuer le travail sur l'enquête qui a fait. Merci infiniment.
Thank you, Mr. Letterboard, and also joining us we have Deputy Incident Commander Charles Cyril, Miami-Dade Police Department Director Freddie Ramirez, and the Miami-Dade Fire Chief Alan Kaminsky to be able to answer questions. And we'll begin the question and answer session now, ma'am.
Mayor Burkett, wondering if you could give us some more information on the, I'm not even sure if I have the right term, the geotechnology testing, and also if there's been testing over the CCL.
The CCL? Okay. I spent about an hour today with Alan, our engineer, and Kilsheimer, and he is actively going through all the plans. We've got the samples. We've taken concrete samples. We've taken ground penetrating radar samples. Those have been sent back to his offices for modeling right now. We are going to go ahead and get samples of the concrete from the collapsed building very shortly, and we are going to compare those samples to the samples we have pulled out of the building on the north end, the Champlain North. We are, we're talking to the residents. We're trying to get to an answer as quickly as possible. With respect to the geotechnical, that's basically an analysis of the soil and the components of the soil, the composition of the soil. That's very important right now. There are ways that can be done. We're looking at the reports that we have for the collapse site, and we're going to try to do some studies of the soil underneath the Champlain North building. That's coming, but we're just gearing up for that, and I expect in the next 3 or 4 weeks we'll have a lot more information that we can provide on what the status is.
We're going to go here, followed by the Associated Press, and then Miami Herald.
Well, back into yes, well, I'm not sure who's back to answer it, but what efforts are being made to help first responders deal with the emotional toll this is taking? Yesterday, just going to the prayer and seeing some of the efforts that the prayer session, a lot of them will take it as emotional. Anything being done to help them?
So we very much know that this is extremely emotionally difficult for everyone, as the first responders who are on the scene, clearly. And we do have excellent services for them in the departments, and we are setting up stations. They also, when they take rests from the pile, they're assessed to see how they're doing. As well, of course, we have many, many visiting groups with their comfort dogs on the scene, and others to provide support. But we're very mindful of this. I've directed county departments to put together a comprehensive plan to be sure that everybody has access to the support that they need.
Associated Press.
Can I add to that? The town of Surfside, our police department has also mandated that all of our officers spend time with a counselor, and I know that that's ongoing right now, so we're doing that also.
Thank you, Mayor. And actually, Chief Kaminsky is on sacred.
So obviously mental health in our line of work is very, very important. It goes hand in hand just based on what we encounter on a daily basis. Internally within the fire department as well as police, we have what we call critical incident stress debriefings. So we have several teams here, and that is their primary goal, their primary focus. So when task force members come off, a long day at work, they meet and talk with them. We also have them embedded at our fire stations for the original units that responded. So that's an ongoing process. So we also have licensed clinicians that are part of that team. So it's a collaborative effort that we're constantly monitoring and really focusing on the mental health of our personnel.
This is a hard one to ask, and I don't know if it's for the fire chief or the police chief. Either one of them might know. If you find remains and you do DNA testing and you match it up, do you count that person then as deceased at that moment, or do you wait until you find more of the body?
Once we find a family member in that condition, it immediately goes to the medical examiner's office. Once we have a positive ID, we consider that at this stage as a loss of life. And notifications are made by our homicide personnel in person.
Miami Herald, followed by Brian Enton.
Also for the director,
Yes.
Director Ramirez, can you take us through what has changed in the operation now that your department has taken over in terms of recovery? What's different on site with the machinery, and are there different dogs in there? Walk us through what the policing role is now.
Nothing has changed. Our homicide, our crime scene personnel, our lab personnel have been there since the beginning, even during the rescue phase. The momentum, the tempo is still the same. What I could tell you, one evolution that we're doing and we brought up the topic of wellness, we're switching out some of our crime scene personnel. Some of the local municipalities are going to provide their crime scene so we could have that wellness component, because just like the firemen or homicide personnel or crime scene people, they see a lot of things that are very sad, like we all are, and it's very important to keep. This is going to be a long process, and it's important that we keep that tempo and we keep our people fresh and we look out for them, make sure that they're operational.
Brian Enton, followed over here.
Can you give us an idea of the progress that you've made? Are you halfway through the pile? Are you a quarter of the way?
Unfortunately, I don't have the exact numbers to let you know. It's still the grids per se. So, definitely we're utilizing heavier equipment. So with that delayering process, we are making progress in regards to floor levels. It's still separated throughout each grid per se. So it's not one even level throughout. But we're definitely have made progress in the sense of removing a few floors.
Ma'am, followed by USA Today.
Since then, it's a recovery mission right now. Are you going to speed up? Do you have a more specific estimated time frame for the recovery?
We don't have an exact specific time frame yet. You know, we are expecting the progress to move at a faster pace with our recovery efforts, but there's also a search component as well. So there is certain aspects, you know, as we're going through. So I mean, unfortunately, we don't have an exact time frame, date-wise, you know, how long this is going to take.
And a lot of families are waiting in this area, and you're providing temporary housing for some of them. So how long is this assistance going to be?
Program assistance.
We're not planning to end the assistance. We encourage everyone to apply at the Family Assistance Center for help. We have FEMA for those who are eligible. We have Red Cross. We have the private philanthropic donations, and we're here to support these families through the entire process.
USA Today.
Hi, I'm Brooke with USA Today. First of all, thank each and every one of you for their leadership and advocacy. I have a question that some of us are still kind of asking, which seems to be unclear, and I hate to even ask, but in the first hour jumping in the lab, there was a 15-year-old child that was rescued, and our understanding is that he has survived. Has there been any other victims that were physically pulled out of the lab site that are still alive?
No, there is not. There was another victim that was removed simultaneously in that same period, and unfortunately was deceased.
You mentioned that several, 180 specimens were obtained through findings. Anything else that you can add about what that means or what they are, what types of specimens they gathered?
In terms of specifics, they get critical components of the structure that they feel through their discipline that are important later on for the investigation and the review that'll be going on, and all that evidence that's documented is transported to our evidence collection side, cataloged by our personnel, and as we move along this process, they'll be further analyzed.
Well, hotels are buildings. They have to go through the exact same process that any other building would go through. And so, as you know, the county has done their review and has found one building through that review with some balconies that were compromised, and other cities are doing their own reviews. So definitely hotels are part of the process.
Thank you, folks. I think